Hello, these are notes on factors. We're going to first start by focusing in on vocabulary. First word is product. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Next, factor. Two or more whole numbers that are multiplied together to get a product. So you might have like factor times factor gives you product. 2 times 3 are your factors, and therefore your product would be 6. The inverse operation of multiplication is division, so it's good to know the word divisor, a number that divides a given number, leaving a remainder of 0. And finally, we're going to be working with common factors, which is a factor that 2 or more numbers have in common. So first, you might be asked to list or fill in the factors of 36. The best way of doing that is to be organized, and let's start with 1. 1 times what number gives us 36? That would be 36. Then I'm going to go to the next counting number. 2. Is 2 a factor of 36? Yes, 36 is an even number, so I'm going to have 2 times 18. 3. Is 3 a factor of 36? Yes. 3 times 12 gives me 36. Next counting number is 4. Is 4 a factor of 36? Yes. 4 times 9. Now I go to the next counting number, 5. Is 5 a factor of 36? No, 36 doesn't end in a 0 or a 5, so 5 is not a factor. Then 6. Yes, 6 times 6 is 36. So my factors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. Are these factors also a divisor? This is a mistake of mine, I'm sorry. Also a divisor of 36. Meaning, can 36 be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36? Well, obviously 36, any number can be divided by 1. So that factor 1 is a divisor. Can 36 be divided by 2? Okay, because that was our next factor, and yes, that's going to give us 18. Can 36 be divided by 3? Yes, that's 12. So the answer to this is that yes, all factors are divisors of that number. And finally, at the bottom of the page, it asks us, okay, you found all the factors when. So how did I know to stop? Well, you find them when you get what I call the turnaround number. I got a number that repeated, the 6. So you know when your factors repeat. So I know I found all my factors because my factor repeated. Now we're going to talk about greatest common factor. There are 2 options that you can use. Okay? Option 1 is called the list method. So if I wanted to find the greatest common factor for 24 and 36, I need to list all of the factors. Well, we already did 36 on the page before. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. Those were all of my factors of 36. The factors of 24. 1 times 24. 2 times 12. 3 times 8. And 4 times 6. So I've listed all of my factors. It might take a little bit longer time as you are working through things. Now, choose the greatest number they have in common. Well, they have 1 in common, 2 in common, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So my greatest common factor, my GCF for 24 and 36 is 12. Option 2 is called the ladder method. Okay, so the ladder method, again, we're finding the greatest common factor for 24 and 36. Step number 1 says, choose a number that is a factor for both numbers. So a factor for both numbers is 6. I could have chosen something else, but I went 6. Okay? Step number 2. write the factor pair under the original number. So 6 times 4 gives me 24. 6 times 6 gives me 36. Step number 3, repeat until they don't share a factor. Well, 4 and 6 share a factor of 2. So I'm going to write the 2 out here. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 2 times 3 gives me 6. 2 and 3 don't share a factor. So my last step now is multiply the outside vertical numbers. I like to make it into a G so I know I'm finding my greatest common factor. Okay, and 6 times 2 is 12. So my greatest common factor is 12, the same as we found in method number 1. So now, because I had said we didn't have to choose 6, we're going to try and select a different factor of 24 and 36. Well, maybe I want to say 2. So then my next step is to write the factor pair. 2 times 12 gives me 24. 2 times 18 gives me 36. I'm going to write the next rung of my ladder, and then I'm going to choose a factor pair between 12 and 18. Oh, I'm going to look, and you know what? I'm going to say 3. 3 times 4 gives me 12. 3 times 6 gives me 18. 4 and 6 share a common factor, so I'm going to factor out a 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4, and 2 times 3 gives me 6. Once again, I'm left with the 2 and the 3 at the end. My last step, take my outside numbers, make that a G, and I'm going to multiply 2 times 3 times 2, which also gives me 12. On this last page, I want you to look and choose the most efficient method for the set of numbers, or what you think is efficient. Because I gave you 2 options, and I want you to look through these and go, you know what, which method would I use? Would I use option 1, which is the list one, or would I choose option 2, which is the ladder method? So press pause and see what you think. All right, so for here, either one would be efficient. I might say, you know what, my factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. My factors for 15 are 1, 3, 5, and 15. Okay, I can write those out pretty quickly and go, you know what, my greatest common factor is 5. Okay, I could do the ladder method, and I might go, oh, you know what, okay, the only thing they share is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. This is the only number out there. So both methods, I think, for those 2 numbers would be equally as efficient. Okay. For 28 and 70, I don't know if I would be able to list all of the factors of 70 very easily. But, so I'm going to go with option 2 on this one, where if I look at these, okay, I'm going to go, oh, 28 and 70 share 7. 7 times 4 gives me 28. 7 times 10 gives me 70. Then 4 and 10 share 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. These don't share a common factor, so I do 7 times 2, which is 14. I think that's more of an efficient option than listing the factors of 28 and the factors of 70. 36 and 60, once again, I'm going to go with option 2 because I'm not sure. We already know the factors of 36, but I might miss some that are 60. But once again, I look at these 2 numbers and I go, oh, 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 10. 6 and 10 are both even. I'm going to factor out a 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. I cannot go any further. Okay. I take these 2 numbers, I multiply them, and I get 12. So my greatest common factor for this would be 12. So the idea when you have options is to choose the one that's most efficient.